what advice would you give to young people, high school, college, dreaming of living a life worth living? What advice would you give them about career or maybe just life in general? How to have a life they can be proud of?
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to react to this, given sort of your expertise, but I would say, put down the smartphone.
Yes.
Step away from the monitor, right? Because real life is not a screen, right? I believe that sort of the foundational skills which are conducive and important to success aren't necessarily those technical skills which we're going to learn in trade schools or university. I think they're more foundational than that. They're learning how to interact and listen
with humans.
Yeah, to really see and listen, right?
And observe
and observe, right? And how to step out of your door, and if the electricity goes out, right, and you're 5 miles away from your house, you don't need a smartphone to get home because you've set visual markers for yourself on how to get back to where you live, right? I think we're in danger right now of living in a world where if the satellites stop functioning, right, then a whole lot of people have become completely dysfunctional, right? Because we're so reliant upon the screens in our lives. So I think there's a lot of foundational skills that have nothing to do with technology that we need to learn and everything rests upon those. So I would say learn those foundations, learn how to write well, read a lot, right? It's a different kind of knowledge and wisdom that comes out of that.
So reading is kind of the equivalent of listening and observing, and writing is kind of integration of all of that you've observed and listened to and tried to express something with that.
So I think my training in the theater has served me so well in the documentary world, right? Because it's all about interaction and listening and talking and dialogue, right? And that's what I do in documentaries, right? Is I listen.
Yeah, we mentioned fear. Being an introvert, I'm very afraid of people, but I'm drawn to them. And fascinated by them because of that.
Yeah.
Enjoy listening to them.
Totally.
And observing them. And you mentioned reading, you mentioned books as a catalyst, as a stimulator of your imagination. Is there books in your life, a couple, 1, 2, 3, that kind of left an impact or a little bit of a spark of inspiration early on in life that stand out from your memory?
I was given The Prophet by Khalil Gibran as a graduation present from my high school English teacher, and I still have that book in a special place on my bookshelf because I think it speaks to the nature of human experience, right? And I return to it all the time because there's wisdom there, you know. But there's many books. So
fiction or nonfiction? What connects with you usually? In the past, I
read mostly nonfiction most of the time. 10 Points is a book I love a lot.
What is it? What is 10 Points?
10 Points is, I think his name is Bill Strickland. He was the editor of, I think, Bicycle magazine, and it's sort of his personal memoir of his experience growing up with a lot of abuse and how that transformed him as a human being. You know, one instrumental book for me that I bumped into in my early 20s. Boy, these are all nonfiction, except for The Princess Bride. Have to mention, it's an outlier. No, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yes.
I read that in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And I found so many of the principles in that book.
What are the habits from that one?
Seek first to understand, then to be understood is one of them. You know, the notion of proactivity is one of them. It's really, and so I've held on to some of those principles through my life as well.